Okay, let's just jump right in. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to tackle one of the most defining and honestly fiercely debated AI engineering choices of 2026. Whether you're running a massive enterprise tech team or you're just, fascinated by how this next generation of AI is actually wired together under the hood, this is a concept you absolutely have to get a handle on.
Because right now, if you go out and ask any team building an AI agent how to actually architect the thing, you're going to get two completely opposite answers. And the crazy part, both sides are backed up by real live production systems and some heavy-hitting empirical data. We are looking at a true engineering standoff here.
So, the industry is currently split into two very distinct camps. Camp number one tells you to keep it simple. They say, just grab the absolute smartest, most capable single model you can afford and give it some really good tools. But the other camp, they demand you split the problem up. They want you using a bunch of smaller, highly specialized models, all coordinated by this overarching orchestrator. Section 1. The case for single models. Let's start with the keep it simple camp and look at the actual concrete evidence against what engineers are now calling the complexity tax. Okay, just wrap your head around this multiplier. 4 to 220 times. A recent study out of the University of Illinois looked at resource consumption and found that multi-agent systems can burn through 4 to 220 times more tokens than a single agent doing the exact same task. I mean, think about that multiplier the next time you open up your API billing statement. It's massive. And here is a brilliant real-world example of that exact risk. Microsoft's own Azure Site Reliability Engineering team. And keep in mind, these are the folks whose entire existence is dedicated to keeping massive systems online. They built a specialized multi-agent system, put it into a live production test, and then completely reversed course. Why? Well, because constantly handing tasks off between specialized agents actually broke things. It hurt the reliability way more than it helped.
If you're wondering about the actual performance trade-off, researchers over at Princeton totally hammered this point home. They gave a single agent and a multi-agent system the exact same tools and context. The result? The single agent matched or beat the complex system on 64% of the tasks. Coordinating all those multiple agents added a measly 2.1% bump in accuracy, but literally doubled the cost. For most tasks, that is just a terrible return on investment.
Plus, there is this very subtle, almost psychological failure mode that creeps into multi-agent setups. It's called false consensus. Basically, when agents are debating or voting, they have this tendency to just agree with whatever the majority position is, even if that position is completely wrong. So what you get is an output that looks super confident to the user, but is actually completely incorrect. It's kind of like the AI version of a corporate echo chamber where everyone's just nodding along with the boss. Because this coordination overhead and that false consensus problem we just talked about compounds so incredibly fast, Microsoft actually issued a clear guideline that explicitly recommend capping agent discussions at 3 or fewer participants. Seriously, any more than 3 and the whole thing just degrades into an expensive, overly confident mess. Section 2. When multi-agent systems win. So all that surface evidence really points to using one strong model, right? Well, let's flip the script and see how multi-agent systems actually completely dominate in some of the most demanding environments out there.
Remember Microsoft, the ones who literally just warned us to cap discussions at 3 agents? Well, check out their M-cybersecurity system. They totally broke their own rule here. M-coordinates more than 100 specialized AI models working in tandem. And the wild thing is, it completely destroys much larger single frontier models on industry cybersecurity benchmarks.
So why on earth does it work here? It's because orchestration won out due to a need for genuine heterogeneity. Think about cybersecurity for a second. You've got log analysis, binary reverse engineering, network flow inspection, threat correlation, vulnerability scoring. These are fundamentally different disciplines. No single model on the planet is going to excel at all of them at once. You need specialists. Perplexity took a super similar route with their computer system. They aren't just relying on one big model. They're orchestrating 19 different AI models using dynamically created subagents. And honestly, their reasoning is flawless. One model might be amazing at complex logic, another is an absolute beast at retrieving data, and a third is your best coder. Right now, no single model is perfect at all 3. This orchestrated approach, it literally brings the best of every world together. And it's not just big tech pulling this off. Academic research backs this up completely. One really fascinating study proved that a relatively tiny 8 billion parameter model
when put inside a really well-designed orchestration framework, was fully competitive with a massive 32 billion parameter single-agent model. So a smart orchestration layer can effectively level the playing field against raw, brute force model size.
Section 3. The hybrid standard. All right, we've seen both sides of the coin. So who's actually right here? What architecture should you actually be building?
Well, the honest answer is they're both right. They're just right in different contexts. And what's happened is that the synthesis of these two extremes has created this incredibly powerful hybrid approach. This hybrid pattern has absolutely become the de facto standard for production systems in 2026. Let's break down how it actually works.
It's a really elegant flow, and it happens in 3 simple steps. First, a highly capable, expensive orchestrator agent, so the absolute smartest model you have, gets the main task. Second, it uses that high-level reasoning to chop the task down into bite-sized subtasks. And third, it delegates those subtasks out to much cheaper, highly specialized worker models. Because, once a task is clearly defined, you really don't need a frontier-level genius model to execute it.
The business results of doing it this way are honestly undeniable. Wells Fargo used this exact orchestrator plus worker setup for 35,000 of their bankers who need to navigate like 1,700 different internal procedures. They took the search time down from 10 minutes to just 30 seconds. Salesforce is doing the exact same thing with their Atlas reasoning engine. Across the board, we're seeing teams report massive cost reductions, usually somewhere between 40 to 60%, without losing even an ounce of quality.
Oh, and there's also this brilliant variant of the hybrid model called the maker and checker pattern. Instead of having one super expensive model do all the work, you have a really cheap, fast model generate the first draft. That's the maker. Then your highly capable model steps in as the checker to review and fix it. You get all the quality benefits of a deep multi-model debate, but again, you're paying 40 to 60% less. It's a total win-win.
Section 4. Choosing your architecture. Let's pull this all together. How do you actually take this mental model and apply it to your own engineering decisions?
So here is your crucial rule of thumb. Look closely at your task. If what you're doing is narrow, well-defined, and really relies on just one primary type of reasoning, stick to a single, strong model with some good tools. It's going to win on cost and reliability every single time. But if your task genuinely spans multiple distinct disciplines, like how cybersecurity needs reverse engineering and threat correlation, then a well-designed multi-agent system is absolutely going to outperform.
And that brings us to the biggest trap in the AI industry right now. The absolute biggest mistake teams are making is defaulting to a multi-agent architecture just because it sounds fancy to their boss or their investors. As we've seen in the data, if you add that complexity without a real, undeniable reason, you're basically just volunteering for massive API costs, crazy token consumption, and some really catastrophic failure points. So instead of just defaulting to complexity, take a hard look at your workflow and ask yourself this one foundational question. Where does genuine heterogeneity actually exist in your problem? If you can't clearly name the fundamentally different skills your system requires, keep it simple. But find that heterogeneity, and you'll find your perfect architecture. So as you spin up your next big project, you have to ask yourself, are you architecting for the problem, or are you just architecting for the presentation? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you all next time.